to strike a deal. Both parties are saying they have a plan, but who's to blame if the government does shut down? Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, ranking member of the Commerce Committee, is joining me now from the great state of Texas. Thank you, Senator, for joining us. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Uma.
Voters,
Thank you, Uma.
Yes, great to have you. Voters in the last election sent a strong message to Congress saying they wanted major changes and cuts to the budget. Yet here we are dealing with yet another deadline in order to avoid a government shutdown. There are some, though, who say if there aren't real substantive cuts, go ahead and let the government close shop. Can either party really afford the political heat if there is a shutdown?
I don't think either party wants to have a government shutdown. There are so many consequences of that. Veterans not getting their payments, our military not getting raises. I mean, these are things that we need to deal with and we need to come to terms. Having said that, it is very important that we show that we are going to cut spending even this year. Even though we are in the middle of the fiscal year, we need to cut spending, and that's the fight right now. But we need to come to terms, and the big fight, in my opinion, Uma, is the debt ceiling. We will not lift the debt ceiling without true reform that's going to do much more than $33 billion or $60 billion. We need to reform the spending ways of Washington.
It remains a vexing problem, and Tea Party members are crying out that the proposed spending cuts by the Democrats don't go far enough. And there are reports that Democratic Senate leaders have told House Speaker John Boehner there will be no compromise unless the Tea Party's demands are ditched. Now, is that realistic at this point?
Well, I don't think you can say anyone's demands should be ditched. I think everyone needs to be heard, and I think we all need to see the big picture. The big picture is the debt ceiling. We have got to do much more in cutting than $33 billion or $61 billion. We need to attack the real spending, which is in entitlements, frankly.
Well, can you actually have real budget cuts and talk about the debt ceiling when you don't include health care cuts in this discussion?
Well, you have to look at Social Security. You have to look at the cost of health care. You know, the Obama health care plan that is going forward has huge increases in spending, cuts in Medicare, and I think stopping the implementation of the health care bill is one thing that we ought to be looking at to try to get these costs in line. Everyone's insurance rates are going up in anticipation of this plan. And that's going to stifle the growth in our economy. So I think we need to be looking at a lot of different ways to attack the entitlement spending and all of the discretionary spending that we can as well. Prioritize the spending that needs to be done, like investment spending, investment in infrastructure, investment in research. But we cannot continue to have all of these programs that have been built up in the last 2 and 4 years.
Let's turn now to the president's energy policy that he unveiled this week. The American consumer is spending nearly 30% more these days for gasoline than a year ago. At a time when the president just unveiled that policy, he wants to cut U.S. oil imports by 1/3 within 10 years. Given the gasoline prices and the continued unrest in the Middle East go on, do you think he will be forced to expand domestic oil and gas production?
We must expand oil and gas production in our country. We're the only country in the world that has vast resources that we are not tapping, and we will not be able to cut 1/3 of our imports without developing our own resources. I hope the president will follow those words with real action, because right now they are not permitting in the deep water in the Gulf of Mexico, which is our second largest opportunity. Alaska is our first largest opportunity, and we are prohibited from most of the drilling in Alaska. So we've got capabilities. If the president will follow his words with action, we can reduce our imports, and that's what is necessary for our economy.
Senator Hutchison, thank you so much for joining us today with your insights. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow's Fox News Sunday is a must-see for the latest on the budget battle. Chris Wallace has 2 exclusive interviews that you're going to want to watch.